I, 17F. Gave my father, 41M. An ultimatum and now half my family hates me. Sorry in advance but this is a long one. When I was 10 my mom died from cancer. Before her death, she was going through chemo and such, and while she was quite literally fighting for her life my father took it upon himself to cheat on her with multiple women, all of them knowing he was in a marriage. My dad had this favorite booty call, we'll call her S. S was very much aware of my father's marriage but didn't care. She was playing on the sidelines for years before my father came clean about him cheating. 2 months after S gave birth to my baby brother. He promised us, mostly my mom OFC, that he would stop cheating and dedicate his time to work and his family. That didn't last long because my mom found out he was on threesome websites with S. My mom couldn't divorce my dad because she was financially dependent on him due to her cancer and needing chemo. So, she spent the rest of her time trying to build peace between the family and S, and welcoming my baby brother into the family as well. I was only 10 at the time, so I obviously didn't have a full grasp on the situation, nor did I fully understand. A week after my mom's funeral, a month since her passing, he moved S into the house and basically started a more public relationship with her. During that time of her moving in, my mom's side of the family wouldn't come over to visit. My dad lied and told me that it was because they're liars that don't care about me, when in all actuality, they were told by my father to either accept S or to never come to our house. This messed me up and I fell into a deep depression. I would spend hours in my room curled up in a ball sobbing my eyes out and isolating myself from everyone. S would be the one to always find me and she would yell at me about having an attitude. S abused me from ages 10–16. She would specifically target me since I acted like my mom. She would slap my glasses off my face, punch my boobs. She did that because she knew it hurt since I was developing, scratch me, punch me, you name it. She blew up over the smallest things and would even hit me when she was angry at my dad or brother over something. I was her personal punching bag. My dad knew about this, she would do it in front of him. He would either stay quiet or encourage her to hit me harder, more. I remember one time when me and my twin brother, we were 13 at the time, had our report cards. I was passing with A's and B's and he had a few C's and 1 D. S backhanded me in front of my dad because one of my grades dropped from a 95 to a 84, but all she did was tell my brother to get his grades up or he'll lose his gaming console and sent him to his room over his failing grade. My dad stayed quiet the entire time, he wouldn't even look at me. Fast forward to July of 2020, we recently moved to a bigger house. Not even a month after living there, she tried to argue with me over my chores. She claimed I overstuffed the dishwasher when it in fact wasn't overstuffed, it was just plates in there from the night before. Anyway, she called me a liar and I told her I had no reason to lie and she ran up to me and slapped me. I lost my cool and cursed her out. I let out years of anger and frustration on her. She called my father crying. I told him my side but he still picked her over me. Luckily for me, my aunt was visiting and saw the whole thing. I was already telling her about the abuse I was going through and this showed her I wasn't lying. I ended up getting kicked out and I'm currently living with my aunt. Everyone, including my older sister and twin brother, took her side. Even though for years they told me themselves that they hated S. In fact, I was the one that consoled them whenever they would cry about the shit she has done to our family. My dad has tried every trick to get me to move back in. He's tried threatening me, bribing me, crying to me, etc. It has never worked. But it doesn't stop them from harassing me and my aunt's household. I finally snapped and told my dad that we could have a semi-normal relationship if he leaves S. He obviously didn't leave her and told our family that I was being disrespectful and trying to ruin his happiness. Now I'm getting calls and texts from family members telling me to grow up and stop acting like a baby. I feel stuck. I've been open with everyone about the stuff she and my dad put me through, but they dismiss it as me being a teenage girl that thinks she's grown. I don't know what to do anymore. I want to give up. I want to sleep and never wake up, but that isn't an option, so I really need advice on moving forward. My dad is threatening to get the cops involved so he could force me to live with them again and be miserable, his words. I just really need advice. You need to get a guardian ad litem immediately. Someone needs to file on your behalf so you can be removed from there. Your family as a while sounds toxic AF. You should leave, but keep in mind that you may burn whatever support structure you have. The alternative is simply tell your dad that if she lays her hands on you, that you'll call the police. Make sure you follow through on this if it happens. The end result either way is that you'll probably leave there. Either you'll be placed with a family member, or you'll call the cops, she gets arrested and your dad will kick you out. If the latter happens, file for abandonment. They'll out you with a family member and force him to pay child support until you're 18 or when you're finished with college. Talk to a counselor at your school about your stepmother's abuse. They are mandated reporters and should report to CPS. CPS can help with the legality of you staying with your aunt. You have been abused by your father and by S. I am so sorry. If anyone's been childish, it's your father. Id also extremely emotionally and physically abusive. No one should be hitting or bullying you like this on a regular basis or at all. Try looking up resources for child abuse in your area. If you trust your aunt enough, talk to her about it so she can help you. If your dad goes through on his threat, you might need to fight back. Call your dad's bluff and phone in an abuse report to the Department of Children and Families, CPS, whatever it's called where you live hotline. Let them know how your stepmother has been physically and emotionally abusing you for years. That your father has witnessed this and failed to protect you. That you fear for your safety and that now he is making attempts to retrieve you from your aunt who is protective. By the way, your siblings are just in survival mode. They can't compromise their safety to take your side. It's not their fault. You have gotten a lot of good advice here. Your dad is not going to be able to successfully make you move back in with him because of the abuse. I don't actually think your ultimatum was wrong, but I would be very surprised if he were actually going to leave so. When family calls to berate you for not engaging with him, you say, I appreciate that you have an opinion, however I have made up my mind and I'm not going to discuss it with you. If you persist in discussing this, I'm going to end this conversation. And if they persist, hang up the phone or walk away. Unfortunately, you may lose a lot of people. However, that will make room for a much healthier people to be in your life. Many of us don't interact with our family of origin but instead interact with our family of choice. You contact CPS or have aunt report the witch. She abused you for YRS. Dad stood by and let it happen, so she deserves to go to jail for child abuse. If you don't want to go to CPS, then go to the police station. If still in school, you talk to a teacher or principal. She abused you because she would get away with it. Your dad never stopped her and let her do it, so now report her and let the law take care of her. She won't stop and she should be reported. Aunt can make an anonymous call and CPS cannot at all say who reported her. If you have any bruises or marks from her, take pics of them. Dad wants to be this way, then dad can lose his family. Forgive and forget, or forget and FK off. So last year I found out that my boyfriend had occasionally been seeing hookers for blowjobs. He claims only blowjobs, but how am I to know for sure? This has happened about 10-15 times. When I found out, he said he felt guilty and didn't want to be about that life anymore. Half of me wants to believe him, seeing as the last time appears to be over 2 years ago. The other half thinks it was just because he got caught. I want to move on and just live our life, but some days I find myself so repulsed to be with someone like that. I hate that his morals are so low and feel that it would be extremely easy for him to cheat on me again. When I first found out, he was remorseful. But as time goes by, he exudes anger when I bring this up rather than understanding it's coming from a place of pain. How do I get over this? Is it possible to truly move past this? Forget and fuck off. You are worthy, don't give to someone who isn't. Did he come clean to you, or did he only admit it after being caught? Sounds like the latter. Throw the whole man away. Him getting angry shows he feels he's entitled to your forgiveness and trust rather than understand he broke trust and he needs to earn trust back. I'd suggest Googling how to rebuild trust and talk to him about it. If he blows you off, then ditch him. After something like that, he at least needs to understand the need to rebuild trust. You already think his morals are low. You aren't going to change your mind even if he doesn't cheat on you again. You'll never trust him, so just end it. Went through something similar. Once it's a mistake, twice is a choice. I gave her a chance and yesterday I just disappeared from her life after finding out she was cheating again. Some people are just jerks and not worth it. Honey, why do you feel like you can't do better than this? First of all, stop kidding yourself. He was fucking other women. He is giving you trickle truth. This is much bigger than what he has told you. He gave you what he thought was safe for you to be mad about. You've just shown him that he can get away with anything. Honey, why? Why stay? 10-15 women? Why is your bar so low? Why do you value yourself so little? You didn't deserve this. You deserve love and compassion from your partner, but especially from yourself. Please talk to a therapist so you can figure out why you stayed when you found out about this. Why you value his orgasms higher than yourself. Do you not enjoy giving blowjobs? Is that why you fell for this BS? You deserve better. So much better. I was assaulted by my doorman BF's friend and he stood and did nothing. So I'm in a really bad place right now. Last night I went out to the bar that my boyfriend is head doorman of and had a couple of drinks with him before he started work. His friend walks in and sits with us and it was all fun and laughs. But this friend is a little weird. He seems hyper-aggressive toward me in the most passive way possible, if that makes any sense. He yells over me or talks down to me but plays it all off as a joke. He seems to become agitated that my boyfriend is with me and not standing talking to him. He's always given me a weird vibe. I smoked a cigarette and came back into the bar and they, my boyfriend and his friend, were standing at the bar together. I stood between them, where I'd been standing before, with my back to his friend, and my boyfriend began to playfully tickle me. I laughed and tickled him back, but it seems his friend got jealous and came up behind me and put me in a chokehold. I'm not delicate, but as soon as his arm closed round my throat I began to panic.